Hello and welcome to Raptors Today. Randy Urban filling in for Akil Augustine, joined by Sherman Hamilton, Paul Jones. Raptors lose to the Bucks, but it was close there in the third quarter. They opened on an 11-0 run, tie the game, and then things kind of fell apart slowly. We've seen this a couple times on the road trip. Jonesy, I'll start with you, and then Sherman. Jonesy, what went wrong? Sherman, what went right? No, what went right, then what went wrong? Because it went right first.
Yeah, it went right. They came out with good intensity, started the third quarter, but the turnovers continue to plague them. It's become a running theme, a running trend, a bad running trend over the course of this early part of the season. Now, part of that is you've got guys hurt. Some of the guys that normally handle the ball aren't there to handle it. Other guys have kind of ascended to the top of the scouting report. There's more pressure on them. So, I mean, that to me, that's the thing that I'm always looking at. But I love the fight with which they play. I really, really do. They don't give in. They continue to play hard. They just have to be more responsible. To me, they have to be more responsible with the ball. I mean, Milwaukee shot, like, for much of the game, they were under 40%. And I think that speaks to Toronto's defense. But when you're going to attempt to play the way Darko wants to play, up-tempo, one of the top fast-breaking teams, you're going to turn it over. That's accepted. But you can't be careless with it or irresponsible in terms of your turnovers.
Yeah, Sherman, what did you see?
Well, I thought that the beginning of the game, they had decent pace. They were able to kind of keep Giannis under control. And Milwaukee came out and said, we're going to shoot a ton of threes. The Raptors were able to hang with that. The problem for the Raptors came in when they started to cough the ball over. They had 22 turnovers leading to 28 points. You're in this game at halftime. You're in this game in the third quarter. And we've seen this consistently where the Raptors struggle being able to close games out. Now, youth is a part of it. Experience is a part of it. Health is a part of it. I know they won't mention it, but you don't have key guys in the lineup that would be handling the ball in different scenarios, and they're not there. So other guys are making plays, and it's not working out. Part of the growing pains, but you can't have live ball turnovers in a game like that.
They're the killers.
And I thought Giannis's superpowers came to the forefront defensively in that third quarter. He was blocking shots, he was getting out in transition and finishing, and we just saw him take the game over primarily. And the Raptors don't have an answer for that. But there were some positives. I mean, Gradey Dick was phenomenal again.
Yeah.
And there's some good stuff that happened in that game.
Yeah, career high again for Gradey Dick. Jonesy, what's different about it? Is it just opportunity?
Well, it's opportunity, but it's also confidence.
Yeah.
When you put the work in, you feel confident. Some of the shots he made, there's a reaction from some people like, wow. Well, no, he's been making those all year, and which tells me he's been working on those kinds of things all summer. I think the biggest thing for me is watching Gradey in the early season, the speed at which he's playing, the pace at which he's playing in terms of making his moves. We always tell young kids, practice game type shots, game speed. Don't go half speed when there's nobody in the gym and then expect to, when there's a guy in front of you and you've got to pull up and make the shot over him. If you haven't practiced like that, you're not going to make that shot in the game. And you look at Gradey and some of the shots he's making, particularly ones that have a high degree of difficulty, he's making those with regularity. Why? Because he's put that work in and he's confident. And that confidence buoys the rest of the team. Like, the guys aren't afraid to give him the ball in that spot and not go, oh no, here comes a shot that, oh, that's a bad shot. No, it's not a bad shot because I put the work in and I practice and I know how to do it.
Sherman, the thing that stood out for me was the free throw attempts. We have not seen that many free throw attempts from him in a game before, 12 of 14. He's solidifying to anybody who's out there thinking he's not just a shooter, right? Like, this guy does other things.
Well, I think the evolution of Gradey's game has been consistent throughout the course of the season. We saw him come out, shoot the ball well from three. We saw him put the ball on the floor and get into that short mid-range game and create spaces and find the pockets of the defense to elevate and shoot. We've seen him athletically finish at the basket. We're seeing him pass the basketball, making reads, screen and roll handle, And now we're seeing a scenario, and this can't get lost. The last game of a road trip, you're probably tired. You're a young team. You're on the road against a team that's struggling. You're both looking at each other like, we can get a win tonight. How do you get it done? Gradey put his head down and got to the basket and got to the free throw line. That's a level of scoring that the real good scorers figure out how to get to the free throw line. Gradey did that against the Milwaukee Bucks team. You can say what you want about how they're playing. He went out there and got to the free throw line. So that's something that to me shows the maturity level and the growth and recognition of, yeah, this road trip's almost over. Might not have the legs that I would have early in the road trip. I'm going to figure out a way how to be productive. Emmanuel's out of the lineup. I'm going to get more opportunities, but I'm not just going to jack shots. His field goal percentage went a bit wacky later on in the game.
Second half was difficult.
But early in the game, he was on 7 shots. He had 22 points in the first half. And he was 4 of 7.
The field goal attempts, I think he was only 3 of 13 in the second half. But to Sherman's point, you think about the great scorers in history. They might have a night where they're 4 for 13, but still have 21 points because they got to the line 12, 13 times, right? You've heard Michael Jordan's thing about 20 points. It's 2 baskets and a free throw every quarter. And if you turn that around, like, well, it's 1 basket and 3 free throws a quarter, suddenly you're getting to the line 12 times a game.
And he was 4 of 10 from 3, which he's been shooting the ball from 3 really well all season long, but that was 10 of their 25 threes. Now the Bucks took 56. Do you think that there's something wrong with the NBA? The way that it's going with the highest pace of 3-point percentage attempts in the history of the game?
Well, I'll say this. When you take 56 threes and you only took 94 shots and you didn't score 100 points, there's a problem. There's a problem. Now, does your philosophy fit your personnel? That's the question. So from Milwaukee, look, you took a ton of threes, but you didn't make a lot of threes. And you didn't even make a respectable amount of threes for the amount of threes you took. So I think to your question, I think some teams are getting lost in this jack up the three, regardless, just volume of threes, and eventually the numbers will kind of validate the threes. I think a good shot is still a good shot. And that to me is getting lost in the shuffle a bit with this intentional approach to take volume threes.
Fun to watch, not fun to watch?
But fun to watch if you're a basketball person. There are times when, listen, I go back to Mike D'Antoni's Phoenix Suns, and part of their defense, people say, well, they didn't play defense, but they drew you into a game where their defense was the wrong guy taking the wrong shot from the wrong place at the wrong time. And there are times when I see a team, they're up 2 or 3 and they've come back, and like you get possession, like, okay, back in the day, you put the ball under your arm, you call a play, everybody knows what's going on. You have a good chance of increasing the lead. Now it comes down and some guy, boom, lets it fly. Well, I was open. And that's the way the league is, and nobody thinks twice about it. So we're in a copycat situation, but not everybody has the personnel to play that way.
Right. Okay, good stuff, guys. Going back to Gradey Dick, a career-high 32 points, including 14 of 16 from the line. In case you missed it, he spoke after the game.
The game overall, give me your thoughts on what you kind of saw out there.
Obviously a tough one. You know, we want to go out and win, but felt like we came out with a lot of energy. There's just, you know, it's tough when, you know, every team goes on runs. You know, we just got to figure out, and, you know, talking to the vets, you know, their biggest vices, you know, when we know that they're going to go on a run, but just learning how to kill it quick and get back to ours. So, you know, just keeping that energy contagious is what we need to keep doing.
I mean, we've talked about your conditioning in the offseason and gaining 13 pounds of muscle. How much do you feel like that is having a direct correlation to the success that you're finding when you're having such great offensive games?
It's huge, you know, especially that, you know, having the energy to run different, you know, possessions where, you know, there hasn't been a timeout for a while, and still have the juice to, you know, get up and down the floor where, you know, maybe the defense may be lacking, you know, a little, and that kind of gives you the edge to get, you know, a couple more points for your team. But yeah, I feel like what I did in the offseason has definitely, you know, helped me, you know, gain a step. But at the same time, you know, I'm far from where I want to be. You know, I'm still young, and, you know, my body's not at all where it can be. So I feel like just going day by day, you know, keep trying to improve is what my mind's at.
It's Damon Stoudemire, and thanks for watching the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel. Check out our latest videos and subscribe for more.
Stoudemire launches a three, knocks it in. Stoudemire